Hello, hello. I'm excited. This is my first Facebook Live, not in my private coaching group, so this is cool. Hello, hello, everybody. Okay, so I know, first off, my name's Rachel Adams, and I know a lot of you and some of you that I don't, so excited to meet you. And a little bit about me. So I actually have been in the real estate industry now for about 4.5 years, and 3 years into the industry, I hit top 1,000 agents in the country for the Wall Street Journal. And now I own 4 companies and I do all kinds of stuff. I have 3 real estate related companies and then also a personal development book and program. And I will tell you that the number one thing that I think I've had the hardest time with, and I think that most people do struggle with, is time blocking. I mean, we all have the same amount of hours in the day, but how do we choose to use our time? And I think for so many people, hi B, I think for so many people, it's kind of crazy because, especially when you're an entrepreneur or you're a talented individual, which everyone has their talents, right? You see an opportunity and you think, okay, that sounds good. I want to do that. And then another opportunity comes up and you think, I want to do that. And then another opportunity and I want to do that. And before you know it, you have so many opportunities coming across your plate. So what do you say yes to and what do you say no to, right? Like there's so many things coming up. And the first thing that I would talk about with time blocking, and in fact, I literally travel around the world like coaching people on time blocking. And I will tell you, like kind of crazy, I'm switching hands. I talk with my hands, if any of you know me, karate chopper when I talk. So I will tell you that with time blocking so far, if you don't know where to start with it, I would really encourage you to look at how you're spending your time. And the best way to do that is for 2 days, I'm going to give you a challenge. Write down everything you're doing. And I mean seriously track everything you're doing. The time you wake up in the morning, do you wake up with an alarm? Do you not wake up with an alarm? Like what time do you wake up, right? And then how long does it take you to get out of bed? How many times are you hitting snooze? Are you a 4-time snoozer? I know that I am sometimes, so it's okay if you are too. So think about how long it takes you to get out of bed. How long, do you work out in the morning? How long is your workout? I like all these little hearts. If you guys could just do those like the entire time I'm talking, that makes me really excited. Okay, so what's your morning routine look like? Are you working out in the morning? Are you exercising? How long does it take you to shower? How long are you cooking breakfast for? Getting your kids ready? Like really just be super aware of what your morning routine looks like. And then when you get ready in the morning and you drive, oh my God, it's like heart central. This is so fun. I'm going to do Facebook Lives every day just so I get like showered in hearts. And if you guys could figure out sparkles, that'd be even better. So just so you know, that's what really gets me going. Okay. So with your time blocking, like you're literally writing down everything you're doing, right? How long it takes you to get to work. When you get to work, what are you doing? And for 2 days, you are super honest, you guys. And it's okay if it's kind of uncomfortable at first, but we all have good intentions. And in real estate, we call it lead generation. And that's where you are generating new leads. You're calling for sale by owners, expired listings. Maybe you're calling around a just listed or a just sold property. In any industry you're in, you're going to be looking for clients, right? You're going to be building your database, whether you own a health food company or you're in the industry of, the fitness industry, whatever it is, a doctor, dentist, you're looking for clients. We want to build our database, right? So you are really being aware of what you're doing. If you check email in the morning, how long are you on email? And it's okay if you check Facebook all the time, if that's part of your lead generation. Like, don't beat yourself up, because for these 2 days, you're just literally watching what you're doing. And what I know that this happens to me, and so tell me if this happens to you. You get on Facebook and you have an intention of, reaching out to a client, to someone in your database, and you want to make a comment because you're going through your database. And you're on Facebook, and then all of a sudden you see a link to a YouTube that somebody posted, and it's a cat video. And you're like, cat video? So you go and you watch that one video, and you have good intentions in watching that one video. But now, before you know it, you've lost like 2 hours because you watch one video and then another fun video because they're good and they suggest them to you. So you're spending all your time doing these things that you aren't intentional about doing. And the thing that will happen is when you're really at what you're doing, you start to see how you're spending your time, and you're like, gosh, is that the best use of my time? So it's an interesting thing. I actually had a coach tell me one time, obviously our time matters. And when we go to work with the intention of working. And for a lot of us, we go to work because we're putting food on the table. Some people, have the luxury of not. And I'm not one of those people. I work to put food on my table. And, you have tons about what you're doing with your day. And what he said is, obviously you say that you want to respect your time. So your time matters. You go to work. Well, think about this. What if your child was behind you? If you are the example, if you are the person teaching your child what is appropriate and how you work and what good work ethic looks like, are you actually working? Would your child be proud of what you're doing at the office? And I was like, man, that's a big aha for me, because sometimes I seriously am not paying attention as I should. So rabbit trail on that one. But basically, you have your 2 days, right? And you're writing down what time you wake up, how long it takes you to get to the office, what you're doing at the office, how long your lunch break is, how long your drive time is. Like, you are literally cataloging everything you're doing. And then at the end of those 2 days, I want you to go back through your calendar, and I want you to circle. And what you're circling is you're circling your money-making activities. So you're circling the exact things that you're doing that directly relate to a dollar-producing activity, a conversation you're having with a client, lunch with a potential new client, going on a listing presentation, going on a buyer presentation. And you're gonna see where you're spending your time and how you're spending your time. And then the interesting thing is that if you are seeing places that you're spending your time and it's not making you money, well, then you could potentially find someone that you can leverage that out to. I'm gonna give you an example. So I am in real estate, right? And I had a situation where I had a listing presentation, and I had the house, right? And everything was solid. They signed the contract, everything's good to go. Well, the seller calls me, and I realized that a lockbox wasn't put on a property. And I'm like, oh shoot, gotta make the client happy, right? So I get in my car and I drive down to go put the lockbox on the property. Well, unfortunately, the house was a half hour from my office, so I'm going a half hour away. And then, traffic. Now it takes me 45 minutes. I get there, the lock spot code isn't working. Like, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Sitting there for an hour, and then I'm like, gosh darn it, okay, gotta go back through traffic, figure all it out. So long story longer, but it took me 2.5 hours for this lockbox, you guys. And I went through a exercise where I figured out my hourly rate, and at the time my hourly rate was $289. $289 an hour, and I was gone for 2.5 hours. Are you serious? For a lockbox? So what I did is, when I was cataloging my time, I realized that that was not a good use of my time. It was not the highest and best use of my time. And so then what I did is I realized, oh, that's an opportunity. So I hired a runner, and my runner charges me $25 per task, plus he charges me mileage as well. But think about that. So I pay like $40 for this lockbox to be on, instead of $289 times 2.5. Someone can do the math on that. That's not my strength. I would leverage that out as well. So that was a big aha. But that is not even the reason I wanted to do this Facebook Live. The reason that I was so passionate about reaching out to you guys today and talking to you about what I learned is because, what I just talked to you about with time blocking, it's a very important thing. And I think that a lot of us can learn how to time block better and to truly realize what is the best use of our time, where we're spending our time. What I learned this weekend, I went to a 2-day conference. It was called One Life Fully Lived, and it's a nonprofit organization that I'm super passionate about being involved with. And basically it's about leading your life at a really high level, like who you surround yourself with, conversations you're having, just wanting a really big passionate life for yourself and going after it, right? And they had these awesome keynote speakers, and they had breakout sessions. And one of the breakout sessions that I went to was called the 4-Hour Work Week. I can't speak today, by Tim Ferriss and Aaron Amuchastegui. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Was actually teaching that class, and he seriously blew my mind. And the one thing that I want to tell you that I learned that seriously is the difference maker for me with time blocking, our biggest struggle, was being proactive versus reactive. So proactive versus reactive. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to explain it to you. So I realized in this class that I'm a reactive person. And what that means is that I have really good intentions about working, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna lead generate and I'm working, and then my phone goes off. And you guys all know me, if you know me on Facebook, I'm super active. I'm pretty quick about my response time. So if I'm doing lead generation, I'm on the phone and I'm dialing with clients or whatever it is, even if I'm on a phone conversation, you guys, and I see a notification, I'll check it. I'll check my Facebook, I'll check my email. And with my life and my world and owning 4 companies, I am seriously like notification. And all that's doing is taking away from my productivity. I'm a reactive person. I'm not proactive. I am not proactively aware of how I'm using my time. I'm not proactive about what I'm doing. I wasn't, right? So what this did for me is I thought, oh my gosh, how many times am I reactive to my surroundings? How many times am I thinking, oh, that happened, I gotta go there? Or I have good intentions about completing a task. For example, I have a really cool presentation I'm doing for Realtor.com right now. And I have needed to get these slides out for a while, just total transparency here. And every time I go to sit down to do them, something comes up, or I respond to a Facebook message, or I get a phone call or an email or whatever. And all of a sudden I'm gone. And you know what, you guys, it takes you 15 minutes at a minimum to get back into what you're doing if you're super focused, because you have to get your mind back on it. You have to sit back down, silence everything, and get back focused on what you're doing. Maybe you have to pull back up a phone list, or maybe you have to go back through an email, or get back to where you're at. Maybe you even lost what you were looking at. Like, does this sound familiar to anybody out there? So that's what happened for me. I'm sitting there in this class going, oh my gosh, I am reactive. I react to everything around me. What if I was proactive? What if I was so hyper intentional about how I was using my time that I could actually get more done in the day? And I went to this conference, and when I got to the conference, they said, okay, so when what I want you to do is I want you to walk around and I want you to introduce yourself to other people. And I want you to say to them who you are and what you're doing and, why you're at this conference. And I said, my name's Rachel Adams and I own 4 companies and I want to figure out what my purpose is. Like, I love real estate, but I also have a coaching business and I have, an investment company and I have a personal development company. And I was like, what really is my purpose? So I go into this conference like really stressed out, like literally thinking, oh my gosh, there's too much happening in my world. What do I have to cut out? And I got this sense of calm, you guys. Like, I was sitting there listening to the proactive versus reactive, and Ryan, my fiance, I know a lot of you guys know who he is, mwah, if you're watching, he like is elbowing me and he's like, this is you, sister. He didn't call me sister, that'd be really weird. But we realized, like, I'm so reactive, and I all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, does that mean that I don't have to choose which business I focus more on? What if I was really proactive about my calendar? And what if I actually, like, for me, as simple as it seems, it's literally silencing my notifications. And on an iPhone, I don't know what they have for Android because I'm an iPhone kid, but on iPhones, they have like a little nighttime button where if you click it, you just like scroll the top of the screen up and then click nighttime. It silences my notifications. So I thought about this, and it was like this really big aha for me about how reactive I am to my surroundings. And so yesterday was the first day that I tried to be proactive versus reactive. And I will tell you, holy freaking moly, mind blown. Like, I time blocked what I was doing in the day, but I had my phone, not only did I have my notifications off, but it was actually upside down and away from me. And I was so much more productive. I got to work on all my companies, and the craziest part of it is I have not had a single day in months where I got everything done that I needed to do. Like, you know how you make a task list and you're like, I'm gonna do this, but then you go do a couple things and you never finish the lower tasks, and then the lower tasks just move on to the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day and the next month. So you're literally sitting there for months with the same simple tasks that you never do because you don't allow yourself the time. Well, I went from this crazy filled inbox to 4 emails yesterday. 4 emails. Do you know how empowering it is to have 4 emails in your inbox? I got my presentation finished. I literally found myself at the end of the day with more time, extra hours in the day. When I started, I wasn't even sure if I could get everything done. And this is the first time in my life that this has happened. I know it sounds crazy, but just try and embrace it. And if you can't think about doing it for a full day, think about doing it for 1 hour. 1 hour, turning off your notifications and being really, really intentional about being proactive in your business and in your life versus reactive. And what you'll find is that when you make one good decision, it's going to breed into another good decision, and that will breed another good decision. And soon you're going to start to have more time in your day. And then what do you get to do with your time? Whatever the heck you want. For me, I want more time with Ryan. Like, I want time with people I love and doing the things that I want to do. And if I'm really, really proactive about how I lead my life and intentional about what I'm doing with my time, then I'm allowed more time in my day. It's a really powerful thing. And just look at how you're spending your time. Look at how you're spending your time. And then think about, if you had more time in the day, what would you be doing? You know, Ryan brought up to me the other day, I actually moved to Sacramento for singing. I used to sing professionally. And he talked to me about, he's like, if you had extra time, I bet you would get back into singing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I bet I would. Because it's the one thing where I'm like, it's this passion, but how do I find the time for it? What if I could have more time, you guys? And you can have more time. Christina, she just wrote, love that you found extra time, lady. I know what that looks like for you and what a gem that is. Thank you so much for sharing. It can be applied to everyone. Awesome. Thank you so much. I miss you. We had such a good night the other day. That was so fun. Sorry, I thought I silenced that phone notification. Anyways, I just wanted to share with you guys. I thought that this was it was just such a game changer for me. And I know that so many of you out there struggle with time blocking and what you're doing. So I would just encourage you to silence your notifications on your phone. I know it seems crazy, but just try it. Try it for a little bit of time and see what happens. And what I want to ask you this, and you guys, I want you to comment and tell me and be totally transparent and completely honest. How many of you right now, while you're watching this Facebook Live, are doing something else? Are either checking text messages or responding to emails or flipping through your phone or looking at a book? Like, how many of you are doing something else besides being fully present in this moment? A lot of you, right? I get it. So I called my team to actually share with my team this philosophy, and all of these people are on the phone and you know, we're all talking. Good job for you, Britt. So we're on the phone and I'm sharing this whole like proactive versus reactive with the team. And I was like, you guys, how many of you are actually on this phone call right now? And how many of you are doing something else? And it was like every single person was like, oh, sorry, Rach. Like, I'm checking emails or I'm doing something else. And I was like, I get it. I totally get it. Because I've been there too. But right now, like, look at all these comments. Half of you or majority of you are like, yep, that's me. I'm doing something else. So all I would challenge you is this. You only have so many hours in the day. And if you can get all your work out of the way and all the nitty gritty, then the beautiful thing is you're going to have more time in your day to spend time with the people you love doing what you want to do. Maybe you want to go golfing. Maybe you want to sing. Maybe you want to go to the gym. Maybe you want to get a break and go to the grocery store. Like, whatever it is, I just want to empower you that you have the choice. Life is about choices, right? We talk about this all the time in my house. We talk about life is about choices, and in our house, we choose happiness. So do what makes you happy, look at your time and be present, and I guarantee you it's going to improve your quality of life. Take care, guys.